Hey guys, Merry Christmas Eve. At least I'm really hoping I'll be able to get this video up today. We're actually doing like all of our Christmas stuff later on today, starting at about I don't know, around like 5 or so. We have to go over to my grandma's and then we're doing like everything, so I'm hoping I can get this video up before then. If not, it's definitely going to be up on Christmas. This video is going to be a review of Rowling Revisited: Return Trips to Harry, Fantastic Beasts, Quidditch, and Beedle the Bard by James W. Thomas, PhD. I don't know if you can see the cover very well on my Kindle. Speaking of my Kindle, something happened to the back of my Kindle. There are all of these weird like lines that are dark, and I don't know if it's like this stuff coming off or what, but I just noticed it the other day. I don't know what happened, but that's not the point of this video. So this is the second book about Harry Potter that I've read by this author. I reviewed the first one, and what was Repotting Harry Potter, I think is what it was called. It was something about like repotting, or repotting Potter, or repotting Harry Potter, one or the other. But in that book, he went through like all 7 books and talked about like stuff in each one. Like he separated each book into sections and then talked about each section, like not really like, I don't know if you call it analyzing, but just kind of bringing up things about those sections that you may not have ever thought about, and like interesting points and stuff. I don't really know how to explain it, but I really liked that book. It did bring up like a lot of things about the books that I had never really thought about, which is interesting considering I've been reading the books since I was like 8, and I've read them a million times, and I've talked about them constantly, so I pretty much know them. And see, it was kind of meant to read the books with it. I think this one kind of was a bit too, but it was more condensed, and I didn't have the books with me at college when I was reading either one of... No, I read this at home. I think I read this at home. Anyway, but I kind of relied on my knowledge of the books and didn't read them, which worked out okay, and I talked about that in that video. But still, it still brought up like a lot of interesting things. And then what this one was, is it talked about the series a bit more condensed. It was like things he'd thought about or realized since writing the last one. So it was like shorter and more condensed with all 7 books, and again, it brought up some really interesting stuff. And then this also has Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, Quidditch Through the Ages, and Tales of Beedle the Bard in there, and he didn't talk about that in the first book, and he talked about it in this one. And there was some really interesting stuff about those as well. He kind of goes through like every beast, a Fantastic Beast, and like talks about each of them. And the Quidditch Through the Ages part I got a little bored with, but that's because I'm not like a sports person, and I like Quidditch okay in the books. Like, I kind of love Quidditch because it's Harry Potter and I love everything with Harry Potter, but I don't like talking about Quidditch a lot because I just don't really care about sports. So like, while the Quidditch Through the Ages part was interesting, it was probably my least favorite part, and that wasn't like the fault of the authors, obviously. It was just, I get bored with Quidditch. So, but I did really enjoy this book. You don't necessarily have to have read the other one to read this one, but I definitely recommend reading both of them if you're a really big Harry Potter fan and you've read the books like a few times and you want to like kind of, I don't know, just learn more about them. Not really learn more about them, but like, it just really points out a lot of stuff that you may not have realized, and some of it's really interesting things. Like, I don't know, he covers pretty much everything in the books, like every type. Like, he talks about literary devices that are used. It's definitely a book that if you're like an English person you would really enjoy. But he also talks about like allusions to other stuff, and I don't know, just a bunch of like patterns that J.K. Rowling seems to use, and just stuff like that. And a lot of like, to me, stuff that's like really interesting and really cool to think. So I would definitely recommend this book if you're like a big Harry Potter fan and you're into that kind of thing, like analyzing books kind of, I guess, but it's a really informal kind of book. It's not like a textbook like thing. It's really, really informal. I mean, it being like, I'm an English major and it's kind of like that, but like kind of like what you do as an English major, like analyzing books and stuff, but it's really informal. It's not like textbooky at all, and it's like, I don't know, kind of like an informal kind of conversation kind of way of writing, and I really enjoyed it. So I think that is all. I hope you all have a Merry Christmas Eve. Hopefully I'll get this up today. I am going to film another quick video on my phone probably later today for like Christmas Eve, and then I'm going to film on Christmas since we're not really doing anything on Christmas. But I hope you guys have a great Christmas Eve and a great Christmas. Bye.